Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So we would be continuing discussing our top into 150 series of questions on Leetcode, and today we are going to discuss this question valid Sudoku. So let's go to this question and see what it states. So this states that determine if a 9 cross 9 Sudoku board is valid. Only the filled cells need to be validated according to the following rules. Each row must contain digits 1 to 9 without repetition. Each column must contain the digits 1 to 9 without repetition. Each of the 9 3 cross 3 subboxes of the grid must contain the digits 1 to 9 without repetition. Note a Sudoku board partially filled could be valid, but it is not necessarily solvable. Only the filled cells need to be validated according to the mentioned rules. So this is the example 1, and in this we need to validate whether this Sudoku is valid or not. So as one row should not contain any repeating number. So this is just containing 537, this is containing 6195, this contain 986, and none of the columns should also contain any repeating number, and none of the 3 cross 3 matrix should contain the repeating number. So we have to just check like the elements which are non-empty, like 7 9. We don't have to check these empty elements. So these empty elements will be represented by dot. So this is the case given, and here we can see that all the conditions are being satisfied. So there are total 27 conditions, 9 for the rows, 9 for the columns, and 9 for each of these boxes. So there are 9 these big boxes. So there are 27 conditions and these should be satisfied, then only we can call it a valid Sudoku. So in case of valid Sudoku we will return true, and otherwise we will return false. Like in this case, let me see what's the problem coming. So here yeah, in the first box you can see like 8 is appearing twice. 8 is appearing here and here as well, so this is not a valid, so that is why we are returning false. So we'll be given one board length of 9, and board I length will also be 9, and its values would be between 1 to 9 and dot. So let's see the code only directly, how we are going to solve it. So we'll define one vector, so that would be named as check, and it will contain 10 values, and it will be defined as false in the starting. Then we are also going to define one integer value. And first of all we are checking this first condition. In first condition we have to check each and every row. So we'll check each and every row. Initially what we'll do is we will, for each and every row iteration, we will set these values as false, check value. For one we'll set it as false and goes up to 9, and then we will run a loop from 0 to 9, and if the board ij is not equals to this dot, means it contains some value, then we will find out its value and we will check if this value is already found. If it is already found, then we can directly return false. Otherwise we will set this check value as true. So this is the case of checking the repetition of for each row. Similarly there is a code for checking repetition for each column. So we will set the values of, now here we will iterate through the columns. So first we will iterate through the 0th column, and now we are setting the value of check as check I as false, and again we will, for for 0th column we will iterate through each and every row value. So if board of ij is not equals to dot, then we will calculate the value, and if this value is already found, then we will return false. Otherwise we will set the value to be true. Now we have checked these both of these conditions. Now we need to check this third condition. So in this we will check each and every 3 cross 3 sub boxes. So there are total 9 sub boxes. So we'll run a loop from I is equals to 0 to 3 and j is equals to 0 to 3. So 3 iterations into 3, 9 iterations we will follow up. For each of these iterations we will set the value from 1 to 9 as false in this check, and then we will now we are in this iterating a particular loop. So I can write it down, iterating a particular 3 cross 3 block. So suppose we are iterating this first 3 cross 3 block. So we will so there will be 9 values in it. So that is why we are running loop from 0 to 3, and we will go from 0 to 3. So 9 iterations will be there, and then we will check the value. So 3i plus u, that will be the value for row number, and 3j plus v, that will be the value for column number, and we are checking if it is not equal to dot, then we will calculate the value, what is the value, and then we'll check if this value is already present, then we will return false, otherwise we will set this value to be true. So this logic remains the same. This logic is the same as the above logic, just the handling of this part has been changed in this loop. So this is how we are gonna handle this. And finally, if false is not returned, like here we have checked all of our 27 conditions, and if still false is not returned, then we will finally return true. So this code should work. Let's try to run it. So yeah, it is getting accepted here. Let's try to submit it as well. So it's getting accepted. So I hope you have understood the explanation to this question, and stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and we'll continue to discuss these rope into 150 series of questions. And yeah, have a nice day.